Welcome back to the review for The Man Who Fell to Earth, Episode 7, Cracked Actor. And guess who we found here? Guess who decided to come back?
I'm back. Y'all missed me. I know. I missed y'all too.
Amaya here and Terrell bringing you the grand review that you've been waiting for since last week.
Not
And
since
this back,
last week.
and we are back with a brand new episode, really good episode of the show. I really dig this. I really liked episode 6, but this one was even better. Um, and like I said, we jump right back into it with Chicago of 1987 because they really want us to believe
Ugh,
that
that
this was
Spencer
87,
deserves some compassion. Not
right?
buying it.
Right. So we come into a young Spencer who is, cooking hot dogs on his own, like every latchkey kid back in the
Mhm.
day. Uh, eating chips. When the FBI, the CIA, whoever the government runs up in his house and pins this kid down to the couch, and as he's watching news, and so we get a little bit of insight about what was going on in young Spencer's life. What did you think was going on here? Like, because they really didn't give you a lot of context coming into the episode. I mean, obviously you knew this was Spencer, right? Because they pivoted
Yeah,
right to
yeah,
him
yeah.
messing up.
I mean, well,
What,
he's the only white kid that we will be seeing, getting a storyline on. So I'm like, oh,
Eddie
okay.
Hatch.
They want us to have some sort of compassion for him. I still hate his ass. Okay, so let that
He's
be
terrible.
known. Um, Yeah, I assumed that something was going on and one of his parents had caused some trouble.
Right.
I think, of course, the excessive force used against children of any color, of any, under any circumstance, unless that child is obviously malicious and violent, then
I'm
yeah, by
about to
all
say that kid a
means.
terrorist. I'm gonna crack him.
But I think that in this case, he's on the couch like
Right.
watching cartoons, eating a hot dog.
What,
Like he's not a threat. So I thought it was interesting. Of course, like I said, I assumed they wanted to give us some background on who he was and maybe why he turned out to be such a cunt. But needless to say, nothing could give me any reason to want to give that man a hug. He's
right.
playing the hell out of this role. And boo that man.
Yeah, my man Jimmy Simpson, man, he's a psycho. But yeah, like I said, we see that there was like on the TV there was like a local terrorist attack or whatever it was, in the background. But we get into that a little bit later. We find out, like I said, it pivots back to Spencer and they got a little mission going because they found your boy Thomas Newton, and they tracked him down to Cambodia. They got a whole SWAT team. Spencer is talking to Finch, who was like, "Nah, this could have a lot of repercussions for for us, and this could be considered an act of war. Don't do this. Don't attack them." We get into it, and we see that clearly this was a trap. This was a setup. Because they've tracked the cement order to this particular location, and they go in and find out this was set up, and you see spores come down from the ceiling, and the soldiers inhale it, and their freaking heads explode.
Hmm.
Uh, this was pretty graphic. I think this is probably the most violence I think we've seen this entire season so far. Um, did you think that they were going to find Thomas Newton when they got to this part? And why do you think that Spencer decided to go ahead and greenlight that mission anyway, even though he was told not to?
Is that a real question? First we see Spencer, obviously. Um, I forget her name, but we see them having these, conversations, and they pull up in the cars and they're talking, and she's like, "I think we found him. This is
Mhm.
what we've done. We've tracked, and also talking about this at this point. So don't want to skip too far ahead, but this is also after old girl twists the doctor's arm to get Josiah's um, file, his medical file. So
Right.
they understand that his blood oxygen level is higher than it should be, and obviously his blood is changing. And I don't know how that led them to finding Newton, or like to just kind of put two and two together. But I thought it was interesting that uh, this was kind of like the pivoting factor, I guess, on how to find him. Did I think they were going to find him? I thought that they were very close. I mean, and this is Spencer. He's going to greenlight any fucking thing that's red lighted. He doesn't give a shit about
Right.
anybody, I think I would have liked to see a little bit more on why he felt like he could do these things, like what cracked in his mind or his brain that has him here, because we only have one episode left, I believe. So this is it's still a little bit of unanswered questions for me when it comes to Spence, and I just don't. I mean, I don't know what Finch thought she was doing by putting basically what they call them a not a stray dog, but like a rogue, a rogue
Yeah,
soldier, you know, on a trail like this one, as if he was not going to be a dog with a bone, you know.
right.
So, I do think that he didn't care the cost of the lives of the soldiers that he sent in, and the fact that he then turned that into her doing with a fake signature and all was just
Yeah, that was dirty.
mind blowing, but not surprising. Not a one damn bit. As soon as they got into that room together, I already knew it was gonna happen.
Right.
She just wasn't smart enough to see it coming.
Yeah. Spencer's a dick, man. Um, we, like I said, after dealing with the whole, I guess, dealing with trying to catch up to Thomas Newton and soldiers being where they're not supposed to be, we then cut back to Jeremiah, who from the previous episode we found out is becoming more Anthean.
Yeah.
He has, as they explained, had his DNA rewritten by
Mhm.
Faraday, and it's becoming more Anthean. So he is kind of losing himself.
He's losing his human self,
Right.
his emotional
Um,
side.
and,
Yeah.
and they explained last episode that he's going to live longer now. He's going to live longer than pretty much anybody, her daughter, whatever. But at the consequence of losing his self.
Yeah.
And they talk about that he was now remembering details of his past and like specific things of his past, but he no
Mhm.
longer had the feeling towards them. He can't remember the feelings he had towards. So he's trying to write that down now, to be able to, like, of course, remember that the feeling, because we know Anthonyans don't really have emotion and things
Right.
like that, which is weird because now Faraday's trying to imitate more emotion. He's becoming more emotional the longer he stays. Um, I'm glad that I thought they were going to write Jeremiah off and just
Josiah.
that was it. That was done. What do you think about just kind of his relationship with his daughter and her seeing him just go from worse to good to something else entirely?
Well, I mean, we knew going into this series that it was a strong possibility that once Faraday did heal him, that there was going to be some sort of side effect. And so you see, obviously, Josiah is in love with music. He's in love with math, and so to see him become so far advanced in those things,
Right.
but at the expense of his emotional side, at the expense of his relationship with Molly, his relationship with Justin. He's changing. He's no longer grandpa and dad. He is just a being at this point, and we see that clear as day as he leans more and more into the numbers and just having these visions or these moments with the music, with the guitar.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, and but I would think that it's possible, and the only reason why I say that is because as Faraday becomes more human, the longer he's here, he understands the importance of the human emotion side, of the connection side. So maybe, just maybe, there'll be a way for them to kind of manipulate Josiah, or hopefully they can just maybe reteach him. So we'll just
I
have
just
to
thought
see.
that I thought that was crazy too, because like you see so much of like Josiah and Molly, like their interaction is so like playful and just full of life, to like he doesn't even like even want to be around. Like he's like there's no more purpose for me here. I don't need to be here. He doesn't even show her any interaction that she try to interact with him. Like that relationship, like it's just changed so drastically since episode one.
Right.
Like she was there for him 100%, stuff like that through the sickness and stuff like that. And for him to be like, yeah, I don't need to be here anymore. I'm done. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard for her because she's a child, so she doesn't understand what's
right,
happening. But I think that Justin, even though it hurts, she can comprehend it. And so Molly is just in a space where she doesn't comprehend why she's no longer of importance to him. while Josiah pretty much fades into, this new version of himself that unfortunately doesn't give the emotional comfort that she was accustomed to. So I mean, it's jacked up. I think that this is a very good plot twist, though. If I'm being honest, the fact that it's not just a generic, regular side effect, but something that's so important that's being lost that also trickles down into the relationships that he has with Molly and Justin. So I thought it was an interesting twist for sure.
That's crazy because the first thought in my head, I thought they were going to go with. I was like, okay, this is going to lead to him either dying or whatever. But I would have never suspected that it would be something like this. You know what I mean? Like on one hand, it's a gift. He's giving him longer life than he's ever had. He's giving his brain like new insights, like he talks about. Like he's able to, decipher things about himself that he could never see before.
Right.
It's opened his mind up. It essentially made him smarter than what he was.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like I definitely see how this goes as they continue their relationship, and like I was saying last episode, like I think he might go back to Athia with them, if possible. Let's see how that goes. Um, and we cut to, of course, Edie and Hatch, and they're looking to sell Origin, and to so they can get out from under the CIA. So they're willing to do anything possible to get under Spencer and his evil clutch that he has going on, so he can get his means to an end. Um, we, I thought this was cool because like you really start to see Edie and Hatch finally start to work together again and start to build back that brother and sister relationship. Even though that last episode we kind of confirmed that Hatch did indeed try to sell those patents,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like within this episode he tried to tell her, but he was like, "Nah, it's too good right now. I don't want to ruin a good moment."
Not even it's too good. It's too late. She asked him on multiple occasions to come clean so that they could start fresh. She asked him multiple times to apologize, to acknowledge it, and to move forward. And he missed all those opportunities. So now, and Hatch is one of my favorite peoples, but now I can't rock because when you give somebody an opportunity to come forth and to lay it all out on the table and they don't and they continue to lie, that's a hard, you know what I mean? Now I can't trust you because I feel like I thought Spencer was going to drop the bomb when he came to visit her at the stable. First of all, this man is a mass murderer. I don't even know who he's murdered, but at this point, the only person he's murdered was the butterfly. Well, the only thing, and I just feel like he just gives off. He needs to be in a horror film for real. This point blank period. But I thought that he was going to drop the bomb when he went to visit Edie at the stable. But the fact that Edie came to Hatch and she's like, they're willing to take us off, to take us on rather, and buy us out at the agreement that was made. He can't say anything now because she's gonna be really hurt when she finds out that it was true. And he could have just said, "I was an idiot. I was stupid. I
Right.
did try it. I'm super super sorry. I'm here to make amends and move forward." Now he can't do that. And if he does, he could do it, but their relationship will never be able to be repaired. Not for a very very long time.
Nah, yeah, you passed the point of return at this point. Um, I, the whole idea, like the whole thing they're trying to do is super hasty because like even knowing the power of the CIA, like even if they made this sale, then they were somehow able to get over on this. The CIA is still going to be able to do what they need to do to silence the situation because now they have insight of alien activity, working with aliens and stuff like that, and building something that, like they said 1,000 times, is going to destabilize the economy and mess everything up.
Hmm.
Um, and when they keep talking about how they got to get things above board and pass certain things because of what this fuel source is going to do to the economy and everything like that, but they realize that certain fuels is at its limit, and we only have but so much left of that. You know what I mean? And this is indeed the future. So many different companies are trying to reach out and grab this. So I mean, hopefully they really give too much detail about, they talk about the guy they're trying to sell it to is like a mogul, and he pretty much takes over and takes everything from you. So I would think
In the
Edie is smarter than that.
I
Yeah.
mean, when you're trying to get out from it's the lesser of two evils. Both of
Right.
them are monsters. This is the oil business. They know exactly what's going to happen to the oil business once this comes out. They presented a very solid, persuasive story, but I do think that to go from one monster to another is never a good thing. However, I like the dialogue in that scene in this episode because I thought one, you saw how smart Hatch really is, and two, that Edie was starting to and is starting to trust him. But then also that the guy knew that he had a good deal, even if he wanted to play like he didn't. He knew that they were presenting him with a good deal. So I think it's going to be interesting how this plays out because I feel as though the CIA, no matter what connects that guy may have, it's probably going to be connected enough for when the doorbell rings, the other people at the other end are gonna hear it. So we'll
Right.
see.
Yeah, definitely. But then we get to where you know Faraday goes to because he needs answers. He needs to figure out what the next step is, what he needs to do. Goes and contacts Thomas Newton, which is apparently a big no-no. Plugs up his 25 TVs and
Hmm.
sends a message to Newton or contacts him, and they talk about what the plan is, and he tells Faraday that he was never supposed to have been a drone. He's supposed to be an adept, and he almost kind of insinuates that that was his son, but I'm pretty sure that was just
Yeah,
you know
that's manipulation.
yeah. Um, but tells him, like, if he would have told him, like, at the beginning, everything, the whole plan, he wouldn't have accepted it because he still had the mind of a drone. He still had a certain, he came down with a mission. He had to get to this point. He had to build a certain level of human emotion to be able to understand everything that he needed to do at this point.
Right.
Um, and I'm happy because, like, you really don't get to see a lot of Thomas Newton. Like, we haven't seen him since what, like episode 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, the whole torture scene. What'd you think about the whole conversation between them two? Like, what'd you get out of that?
Well, I mean, Faraday is loyal and
Oh
dedicated
yeah.
to the mission, so he looks up to Newton. He feels that Newton is the right way and the only way. Now he's learning that he's not. Not only is he not the right way, but he's not the only way. And now he's interpreted the message after Justin comes back and tells her that, there was a message sent down, and, you know, he also killed the soldiers that went in after him. I
Hmm.
like how he hacked. I really enjoy how he hacked the CIA, how he flipped it back on them. And he listens to the message and he realizes that, wow, this is not what I thought I was coming here to do. So I enjoyed the conversation with Faraday and Newton, but I also enjoyed how Faraday stood up for himself. How you could see his emotional side coming through, and him basically being like, this is not what I signed up for, or why didn't you give me all of what I needed? So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out in the next episode for sure.
He definitely, during that conversation, he tells Faraday, like, look, you need to play that game. You need to adapt a little bit better. You need to start lying.
Hmm.
And you need to be somebody that is untouchable, that they can't take down. And that's when we get that
The
he
scenes
starts to
reporter.
kind of figure out, like, okay, I need to build this persona. I need to become somebody that they can't
Hmm.
potentially take down regardless of whatever they're trying to do. And I thought that, so right after that, you kind of see, like, the change of, like, the way he talks, the conversational tone, stuff like that. And like you said, the more he learns, the better he gets at becoming human.
Hmm.
But no, I just thought that's pretty good. And of course, man, I cannot remember the agent's name. I want to say Martinez or whatever, whatever her name
Don't
is.
ask me. I
I'm,
don't
I'm like
remember.
trying to figure out how to picture this woman. Like, but yeah, she tries to run in and figure out what's going on, trying to decipher the message because she nosy. You know what I mean? Trying to be loyal. And we know she's a double agent, right? She's working for Spencer, and she's working for somebody else. They haven't revealed who the other person is.
Yeah.
We think it's Finch. You think she's playing that for Finch?
I was thinking that that is my initial thought, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely gonna figure out. then we get into we found out Portia's coming back into town, and she coming back in. She want to know what's going on with her friend because she's coming in to babysit, and she's trying to figure out what Justin is. And as soon as she meets up with Faraday, she gets all in Faraday's face, and you need to back off, stay away. Like, oh, this man trying to figure out what's going on. Portia's always like the friend, man, that I feel like no, they're not trying to give her too much information because they don't want her involved, because that, of course, that could be potentially trouble for her the more she knows.
Yeah.
I also feel like she hasn't really played a big part in the show at all, other than like just being a babysitter for 5 to 10 seconds. I mean, emotional support, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that was the way that it was written. I think that what she's played well, but obviously it's just not a key role. It's
Right.
more supporting. But I mean, I like her energy when she is in an episode. I think she's doing what Portia does, and is protecting her friend, which is what we love to see. So.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, hopefully, I mean, like I said, I don't expect her role to upgrade anytime soon, but I mean, like I said, she is protecting her friend, and definitely they needed a reason for Molly to be occupied. So that other than that, we figured it out. We then finally get Faraday coming. Actually get to talk to Justin after calling her 15,000 times, and he tells her the plan. Like, he tells her, like, hey, I need to be somebody else. I need to adapt to this. I need to put on a persona. And he's like, look, Hatch has been lying. CIA is watching us. ABC, this is what's going on. And they find and get in contact with Hatch's reporter friend, what's her name? What is her name? Penny Morgan. They get in contact with Penny Morgan, who they want her to put out the story about who he is and what he is, and they talk to her, and you can see that Faraday's like super good at putting on this persona. He's super good at lying to her, and she's trying to catch. Of course, she catches on. She's a reporter, so she catches on the bullshit. And we see Faraday put his hand on Justin's leg, and she was kind of thrown off by it. What did you think about this? Because it seemed like we were getting closer and closer to that first episode. Because I thought that was like further down the line, but it seems like it's going to be closer than what we thought.
I mean, I think that, I think that this meeting with the reporter is about a lie, right? It's creating a persona. Even though she smelled bullshit, it's like she still doesn't know what he is. I don't think that he necessarily wants to expose what he is, more so than he wants to expose what he has and what they've created and what could potentially save the world. And so in that, I think that he was doing one what kind of came natural to him, but two, what he's actually learned by watching people. Because remember in the beginning of the episode, he was also people watching. Well, actually, that was the last episode. So he people watched, and I think that turns. You can learn a lot from people watching. You learn gestures and looks and postures and things of that nature. So I'm not surprised that he put his hand on Justin's leg. I think I was surprised by her reaction, but I also think that she knew that where she was, she couldn't react maybe the way she would have before. I think she's doing good right now. She's coming across the hump, so to speak, with Faraday. She trusts him. He is, now kind of like one of her people. And so in that aspect, it's not bothersome. But I think that when he explained what he was doing and why he talked the way he did and why he put his hand on her leg, it was it was mind blowing a little bit. And she was like, well, can you read me? And he's like, I can, but I don't want to. And I think that is part of the mystery of, like, I could have at any point invaded your privacy and read you, but I'm choosing not to. And so I definitely understand that, and I think it's a major point in the episode for sure.
Yeah, like I said, we finally, coming back to the Faraday that we see at that beginning of the episode where he's putting on the tech show and stuff like that. We're finally getting closer and closer as we get closer to the end of this show. I'm not sure if this is 8 episodes or 10. I'm not 100% sure. Because I feel like I keep saying a different number every time.
Right.
We then shoot to the CIA, in Washington. Clay has to come to Washington and explain his actions. And in this scene, we see him talking to, his superiors and stuff like that, and he's decides to side rail Finch in the meeting by saying that she greenlit the mission and had a fake signature on there, everything like you said earlier, and she's sitting there just feeling utterly betrayed. Because she's like a mother to Spencer this entire time. She was the reason why he has everything he has right now. She's protected him, and he decided to go and make a career move out of it. What did you think about like just kind of like her face and like her reaction to this? Like,
I
I mean, of
mean,
course, you hate the guy, so
like I said earlier, she didn't see it coming, and but I think she should have been prepared because he's not to be trusted. Like,
at all.
I don't, on the phone with him before we get to that piece, when they're in Cambodia, and he's like, I got it, I know where he is, and she's like, you've never been good with hearing no, but no, and slams the phone down, but like, you're saying no over the phone, but you're not like connecting the dots here that he's saying that he has it in motion. What made you think that he wasn't going to, to do that, especially after now that Josiah, Faraday, and Justin and Hatch have figured out how to stabilize the project. You know what I mean? So because by this time they have seen it, if I'm not mistaken. And so I think that she just was ill prepared. And with somebody like Spence, come on now, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, she said, she was there with him when he was pissing on himself when he was a kid. So I thought that was that whole thing, man. We really start to see his true side. The person that he already was, and she should have known. She should have saw it coming a mile away. And of course, I don't know if the intent was to hang him up on that, or it was who was going to get to who first, basically.
I mean, I think that honestly speaking, she might have tried to put it on them both,
Right.
because she has been, protecting him for the most part throughout this season. So I can't say that I would have saw her like throw him to the wolves, but for sure, I was not surprised that he threw her to the wolves. Absolutely not. Like that's who he is. He would, again, we see him threaten Edie, right? In this episode, we see him sacrifice the lives of the soldiers. We see him get upset and yell at the tech guy who's there, and then we see him throw her under the bus. Like there's nothing that this man won't do. So I am not surprised.
Yeah, he's trash. You know what I mean? Like that's just bottom line for that whole conversation. Then we jump back to now finally got her name, Lisa Dominguez. I don't need to hear this in the comments from nobody talking about we don't know what to look. I got it. Lisa Dominguez. That's her name. I feel like they don't say it enough for me to be like, oh, that's what her name was. You know what I mean? Like anyway, she comes up on Justin. She's trying to get her coffee and was like, hey, I need you to come back to me with the lab real quick in the show. So she shows her the video of the soldiers getting their heads blown off, and was like, and try to paint the picture that of course Newton is a big threat. He is pretty much trying to like I said before, trying to get revenge, trying to they don't know what he's trying to do. They want the whole goal is to stop him. She feels she tells her that she can protect her, she's gonna protect Faraday, which is of course bullshit. CIA. And she tried to paint the picture like and turn her against Faraday. Like, look, if you can get him to tell us where he is, I can help you, I can save you. And then of course she tries to go and to ask Faraday about it, and he's like, nah, that's not the type of guy he is. This is not what he does. He's trying to come back. We're trying to save our planet. Yada yada yada. What did you think that she was going to actually take the deal and work with him? Because she first of all she said that he thinks that he's fallen in love with her, which I thought was weird because he's never shown that emotion. You know what I mean? It's never felt like there's been a moment like that for that to happen.
It's classic government manipulation. You know
Of
what I
course.
mean? So I feel like Justin is smart enough to know better. And I think that's why we see her going to Faraday and telling him actually all of the truth. She didn't like lead him into any answers, or she's not like coercing him into saying, to like acting like he's lying or anything like that. So I think she did, I don't, Justin did exactly what I thought she would do. You know what I mean? And for me, that's what I love about their relationship, is that they've gotten to a space where they are trusting each other, but they're listening too, so they can read each other's energy for the most part and each other's body
Right.
language. So I'm not surprised, again, when Faraday reads the message or he listens to the message after he hijacks, the computers. He now knows the truth, and he immediately goes to Justin. You can tell that he's just found out this news, and he's going to her to say like, "Hey, I thought I knew him," and that's not the case. Like, this is what
Right.
he's saying, and I think that is just a tell on how their friendship has developed in the last eight episodes or 7 episodes. Sorry.
Right. Right. We out of nowhere get a surprise apology from Edie to Hatch, and as we talked about earlier, he looks like he feels like shit because he know he's wrong, and he wants to, at that moment, like, he wants to say something, like he pauses for a second and he wants to apologize, like he wants to be like, yo, I did it, you know what I mean, like, but like you said earlier, like, it's past that point of no return. And she's really she likes the way everything is going, like everything is going smoothly. She feels like she has leverage over Spencer. They about to the deal's about to go through. And like we talked about earlier, like it's just a bad time to be trying to come out with, hey man, I did try to fuck you over,
I
episode,
mean, yeah.
7 episodes ago. But like, let's mess up this moment now. I don't know. Like, every time I see Hatch, like, it's like his priority seems to be just trying to get back his position and get back into his family. Like, he has no, as we found out from the last episode, with episode for last, doesn't really seem to have any loyalty to anybody else but himself.
I wouldn't say that. I think that he is in a space of, when you've been outcasted by family, that's a very hard space to be in.
Right.
You will feel like you need to attach yourself to anything that one will feel like support and consistently and security, and that you also, this is his way of trying to get back into his family. So I don't think that it's not that he's loyalty. I think that you see him trying to latch on to different versions of security that he thinks
Right.
exists, like latching onto Faraday and Justin, because really and truly those are the only other people besides his sister and nephew that he's really tried to be like, get back in with. So I think that it's not that he's not loyal. He's somebody who's hurt, who wants to get back in, and he's doing whatever that takes. I don't think that he would fuck over his sister though. I think that he's already feeling some kind of way because of the mistake. It's just that
Right.
that mistake is very huge to come back from, so he can't really do anything about it.
Right. Um, we get the opportunity to learn more about Hatch and Finch's relationship very briefly, and a little bit more from the beginning of the episode, where they run up in there, and he explains like his birth mom was a terrorist, and she fled, yada yada yada, and Finch pretty much took care of him. She was like a mother to him, and she's the reason why he got a job. But you know, at the end of the day, he still did what he did and betrayed her. He betrays the people he loves, as he tells Edie, like, look, I know you try to look up, some stuff on me. It ain't gonna work. Don't try it. I'm gonna bury you if I have to. You know what I mean? So, I wonder, like, she had her little 5 minutes of, hey, I got something on him, to, hey, he's gonna put her in a hole somewhere, because now he's pretty much been given the power and authority to do what he needs to do in this mission by
Yeah,
superiors.
I think that maybe something can still come out of it. I don't know on this part, to be quite honest. I just wanted her to stab him in the throat with a knife, so there's that.
And
I
that was
don't
super
I don't
weird too. Like, he's like leaning back, like touching her hair, and
I don't got
everything
nothing
like
else
that. I'm
for
like,
it.
I'm like, wait,
I feel like in this instance, this is so unbelievable for me. I hate that they portray these moments with white people as if they're so stupid and like nonsensible. This is a nonsensible thing. This man somehow made it past your front gate, security and everything else, and
he's
shows up in your
CIA.
stable.
Yeah,
And you don't think that maybe you should like just start walking towards, I don't know, just it's weird to me. This scene I wasn't happy with, because I feel like they painted her as a weak person, And I don't like that they're taking her power away when she's been trying so hard to get it back. So I'm not a fan.
I mean, I think that she does need a. She's one of those characters that needs to fall. Like I feel like she's been at the top right now. She's taking on this responsibility of her dad, and she's kind of like been kind of cutthroat even with her son and stuff like that. She's gonna do what she needs to do to maintain her power.
Mhm.
And somebody coming in to kind of take that away, it's kind of throwing her off her game a bit.
Yeah, but in this instance, she should be even more like gung ho because he is threatening not only her life, right, or and her financial security or what have you, but her son, And so I don't know. I wasn't a fan of this scene. I get the point and why they did it, but I just feel like it could have just been maybe done differently.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Then we come into the scene you were talking about earlier, where Faraday, decides to do a little hack and find the video that they were talking about and the encoded message that was in the video that was sent out after the trap that was sent out. So it was a trap that was sent, the message that was sent out after the trap went off, and then he goes to talk to Justin and lets him know, like, look, I was wrong. This dude lied to me. The plan was for never to leave and go back to Anthea, and but to bring them here for whatever reason. I'm assuming to just bring all of Anthea to Earth.
Hmm.
And this is surprisingly what the CIA was trying to prevent in the first place, right? And you see him really trust Justin for him to tell him that, right? Why would he tell her of all people? So kind of brings what Lisa was saying into play. Maybe he is sharing a strong emotion with her. Maybe it is love. Probably not to that level, but why would you think that he would
No.
be so honest with her if his loyalty was to Thomas Newton from episode 1?
His loyalty was to Thomas Newton as long as the mission was what he thought it was.
Right.
The mission is no longer what he thought it was. His loyalty is now to the woman who has been helping him bring his mission to life. And I think it's only right that he would be honest with her, because he knew, even though he didn't have to read her, right, he knew she was being honest. And her conversation with him about the CIA agent coming to her with the information. So I think it was just a mutual respect thing that they were both doing for each other at that point.
Yeah, I just thought it was great, man. Great, what a great way to end the episode, man, with potential alien invasion. If like I said, I don't know for sure. I think 8 is it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna find out, how many we got left. But if this leads into the finale, man, this is about to be a good last episode. You know what I mean?
I
I
agree.
cannot wait. On top of that, great song choice for the end of the episode too. Good song, good song to play. I really enjoyed that. Overall, I mean, just really good episode. This
Yeah.
this show has definitely gotten better. I feel like the first 3 was kind of slow for me. I'm like, but it's got progressively better as we get more and more detail as to what's going on in the series. But like I said, overall, it was a really good episode. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the last two episodes for me, definitely fire. 6 and 7,
Yeah,
really. Well, I'll give 5. 5, 6, and 7 have really shown and built the story more, and I
right.
like that. I think they're doing a really good job. And I'm excited. I mean, I'm hooked now, so I'm ready for season 2. Like, take me through it.
Casey, like I really hope we do get a season 2, but I feel like the conversation, I feel like nobody, I feel like besides me and you, and like obviously the people that's watching this stuff like that, like I feel like I haven't really heard a lot about the man who fell to Earth.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do
It
get a
needs to
season,
be it needs to be tweeted about in order for it to thrive a little bit more.
right? But on that note, this is the end of the episode. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Let us know. I know you're happy Amaya's back, so we can get so we can get back into it. But like I said, hopefully, if episode 8's our last. This has been a good season, and I guess this has been Terrell,
Yep. We'll see you next time.
and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I keep